Hey, call me Shape. And today I'm reacting to a video titled, How to Be an Alpha Male with Any Pretty Black Woman You Want. Let's get right into it.
Being an alpha male is a demeanor. It's how a man stands. There are some men, because the argument was for side man that, oh, because I pay my bills, because I look after my family, that makes me an alpha male. No, it doesn't. It does not make it alpha male. There's some broke ass men. There are some poverty pools that are out there and they exert alpha male energy. So it's a thing where it's not about what you do as a man. For me, like when I'm looking at guys, it's not about what you do, because respect to the men that look after their families, respect to the men that, even some CEOs don't exert alpha male energy. Being an alpha male is a demeanor.
It's a demeanor. It's not a demeanor. See, a lot of people think being alpha comes from the outside, like if it's on the surface level. No, it comes from within, okay? And also, alpha means you can lead men. If you're a leader of men, you're alpha, whether you like them or not. Now, some people are alpha males at work, and they're beta males at home. That's just the way it is. When they're in the office room, when they're in a business meeting, they're alpha. But when they're in front of their wife, they're betas. That exists, okay? Alpha doesn't mean you're alpha in every aspect in your life. You might be a situational alpha. You might be alpha in a certain circumstance. Like a gangster is alpha in his hood. When he goes outside his hood, he's not an alpha anymore, okay? He can't lead the men. He can't lead men outside of his hood, okay? But what many women confuse this, and this is why we're going to get started, talk about this. I got a lot of videos of people talking about what they think an alpha male is, and I'm going to debunk them and respond to them.
An alpha male is the same guy when he's under stress. The waves crash on him. Waves of emotion, bad stuff happening, stressful situations, personal issues. And despite all of that, he stays the same dude. He's unchanging. A rock. A stone. Someone that you know and that you can trust to do the right thing. You know who he is. You might not like him, but at least you know what he's like and what he's going to do. Not in the sense that he's predictable, but he's dependable. An alpha male is the
good way to put it. He's not predictable, he's dependable, okay? And he's stoic. He has emotional intelligence. If you fly off the handle, you're not alpha. Right? If you're very impulsive, you're not alpha. You're beta. Women are impulsive. So in order to be alpha male, you can't have a feminine quality in the environment that you're alpha. Like I said, some people are alpha at home, but they're betas at work. Okay? And some people are the reverse. They're alpha at work, but they're beta at home. It all depends. We got some more videos. Let's see what other people say, and we're going to respond to them.
3 habits of an alpha that all women can't resist. Number 1 is he puts himself first. A good feminine woman will want a man who understands that by putting himself first, staying healthy, keeping his work priorities on check, hanging out with his male friends, are all habits supporting his role and ability to be a good partner towards her. Number 2 is he makes quality decisions quickly. When a woman is fully in her feminine, she will want a man who can make quick decisions that are beneficial for himself, her, the relationship, and the family. That doesn't mean she just enjoys being lazy or just shutting up. No. She just knows that the man she's with will always know what's best for her, him, the relationship, and the family. She trusts him fully. And here's an extra tip. Men, watch out, because if she starts saying, hey, you didn't ask me before you made that decision, this simply shows that she might not trust your judgment yet. Number 3 is he disagrees even if it means upsetting her. A high-value ascendant man will be opinionated, direct, and assertive, even if it means upsetting her. Many times, the truth can hurt a lot of people. It may hurt more at first, but with time, women specifically will start to appreciate the bluntness that you bring into the relationship. This makes her inspired, always admiring you. That's your masculine essence. Start implementing these habits into your daily routine as a human, as a man, as a coworker, as a friend, and watch women find you completely and utterly irresistible. 3 habits.
The key thing she said here is putting yourself first. So many people sacrifice themselves to serve other people. And the reason why that's a bad idea, because you're not going to do anybody a favor if you don't take care of yourself. There's a phrase, right? Take care of yourself for me, and I'm going to take care of myself for you. The idea is that if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to leave yourself for us to provide and pick up your slack, right? So here's a good example of this, right? A lot of men are out of shape. That is not alpha, okay? Being fit is alpha because that means you have discipline. That means you have perseverance. You could go through hardship and still persevere. So, this is why I created a course. I got a new course coming out for you guys. It's called, and actually it's a challenge called Lose the Gut, Get More Butt, okay? The challenge is a 6-week challenge. It's coached, led by me, okay? I'm going to be your VIP coach. I've been a personal trainer for the last 5 years. I'm going to help you guys lose at least 15 pounds in the next 6 weeks, okay? Registration starts on Wednesday, May 14th, and the whole challenge kicks off on May 25th, okay? So stay tuned for that. I'm going to put out more information about it, but I want to let you guys know that I had the Lose the Gut, Get More Butt challenge, okay? It's going to help you guys be more alpha and masculine because let me tell you something. There ain't nothing more masculine, more alpha than a fit body, okay? But this lady had some good tips. I appreciate it. Anyway, we do have some detractors, some people that think, alpha males are podcast bros, people like me that get online and talk about and be a voice for men. Some women hate it. They hate that we're educating men. We're going to listen to what she says and we're going to respond to it.
Talk about the alpha males. So the alpha males that all have a microphone and a podcast now. What is that? How much more feminine can you be than to gossip all day on a podcast and talk shit with your girls? That's what you guys are doing, talking shit with your girl. I've been ignoring the alpha males for a long time because I do not want to give them any energy or attention, but everyone in my circle has been saying, Liz, you have to talk about this because it's really getting out of hand and people are actually divorcing because of it or losing the partner. But I have concluded from the alpha males is basically that men are just very easy to manipulate. And it's sad to see, but yeah, they're very easy to manipulate. I had this one instance, a friend of mine, she had a boyfriend. And this one alpha male, he basically said in a video that sushi is a feminine food. So if you eat sushi, you're not a real man, right? So, and I think this guy was even joking. So then my friend's boyfriend, she basically asked him, can we go to a sushi restaurant? And then he was like, no, babe, sushi's a feminine food. I don't want to go. This guy is 28. A 28-year-old literally practicing what this guy said. And I think even this alpha male guy was joking. Back to the daddy issues that men have because they have no guidance in life. So they will follow anyone that tells them that this is the life and whatever, because men don't know who they are. It's not manly for them to discover who they are. It just go to work and that's it. But then what does that create? Lost men. Men that are just searching for someone to lead them. Talk about the alpha males.
Okay, so she's wrong in thinking that an alpha male could tell you what food is feminine, what food is masculine. That's retarded. There's not food made for men and food made for women. If you believe that, you believe in marketing, okay? But women believe this too. This is why women drink wine and men drink beer, okay? You guys fell for the marketing. I went to school for marketing, so I don't fall for that crap, okay? Beer's bad for you, wine's bad for you. There, I said it, okay? I said it. But the one thing I thought was interesting about what she said was this guy was so weak, he followed another weak man, but she was clear that he was alpha. He's not alpha. Just because he got a podcast, he's talking ish, he's not alpha, right? He might be a fool. If a man claims he's alpha, doesn't mean he's alpha. But women are so delusional, they think if a man says he is. Right? Because women, remember, they fall in love with their ears, not with their eyes. Alpha is not what I say, it's how I behave, but the behavior doesn't just come from something that I'm just doing, I'm just acting, I'm just a character, it's just a costume I'm wearing. It comes from within, okay? It comes from within, and then the behavior is just a byproduct of it. That's all it is, okay? But, women don't know what alpha is, so this is what she's going to say. She don't know what she's talking about. Anyway, some people confuse alpha with high-value men. I don't mind this. We're going to let her respond and say, you're going to let her say what she got to say, and we're going to respond to it.
A lot of women in my comments love to argue with me about what a high-value man requires, but doesn't even really know what a high-value man is. A high-value man is more than money. There's so many ways that you can hit 6 figures in your career without a college education. You can do it through insurance adjusting. You can do it through real estate, and you can do it through trucking. A high-value man is a man with morals and integrity. Let's get into it. Anything that is of value is not easily obtained. So if he's easily obtainable, if any girl can have him, is he really high value, or is he just highly desired? Really think about it. The most beautiful woman can be highly desired, but the more people that she gives herself to, the less valuable she is because she's easily accessible. This is the same exact reason why the BBL era is running out. It's easily accessible. Everybody has one, so it's not as valuable as it used to be. An easily accessible man with a lot of money is just a boy who learned to mask his insecurities with his money. Their perceived value is based on outside validation, how many women they can sleep with. If high value man A makes 6 figures and he is willing to be faithful and believes in monogamy, and high value man B makes 6 figures but he does not believe in monogamy and he cheats in every relationship, when you take the money away, who as a person is more valuable? It's going to be high value man A, because anything of value is not easily obtained. So if the
I have a hard time with this because women believe, this is what women do. They create an idea of what they believe a high value man is. That high value man is all the qualities they want, and then a low value man is all the qualities they don't want. Or similar, alpha male is all the qualities they want, and a beta male is all the qualities they don't want. But the reality of it is a lot of beta males be winning because women actually want a man they can control, which they think is alpha because they think, oh, if I can control you, you're alpha. You're not alpha. but he's led by his wife. So a lot of beta males are the ones that women are actually used to. Because the beta males are the ones that are willing to be submissive. They're the ones who are actually willing to yield to women often. And they're the ones that are faithful because they don't got a masculine bone in their body to be able to seduce multiple women at the same time. Okay? But you hear women talk like this, and that's why the bigger thing here, if you got to watch this video, you want to understand what it means to be an alpha male. What it really means is understanding that your purpose comes first and your woman comes second. So many women are going to try to convince you to make them the priority. But let me tell you something. When they leave and you prioritize them your entire life, this is how people they get zeroed out. They want to self-delete themselves because they feel like their whole world collapsed when a woman leaves. You need to have something more valuable than the girl you're talking to going for yourself. And if you don't, you shouldn't be talking to no women. Okay? I'm fortunate I have this YouTube channel. I have a career now as an influencer that I could pursue something that's way more valuable than getting punani. Way more valuable. So you see what I'm doing. I'm backing it up by my actions. My channel has over 700 videos. That took time and effort. Okay, and it wasn't always easy. And I didn't always make good money on YouTube. I am now, but you get the point. Anyway, we're moving on. Here's another guy who's a detractor. He wants to talk bad about masculine men, alpha men. Let's see what he has to say, and we're going to respond to it.
When somebody tells you they're an alpha, you should believe them, because alpha is a type of radiation. And it's a type of radiation that's so weak that it doesn't penetrate into the body. But if it gets inside the body, it does tremendous harm. So you believe them. But alpha is also a type of program. It's a type of program that's so buggy it shouldn't be released to the public. And so when a man tells you that they're an alpha, believe them. When somebody tells
See, this is what you call a beta male. He's the kind of guy that he's going to believe what women believe to appease women. You never do this. Never change your mind to please your woman. Now, I wrote a book, Be Attractive and Shut Up. Okay? But shutting up means that you're just going to be observant. Okay? By the way, you can get the free download in my link. Go to the link. It's a free download. But the shut up part doesn't mean that you agree with women. It just that means you don't argue with them. You don't fight with them. I'm not in the business of trying to change a woman's mind. If you want to believe that that is alpha, believe what you want. It ain't gonna make me no difference. It ain't gonna change nothing, okay? You can believe the sky is green. You can believe whatever you want to believe. You can believe men can become women. You can believe women can become men. You can believe whatever you're gonna want to believe. I'm not gonna lose no sleep about it. And I'm telling men, in order to be alpha, is that you don't have to fight and argue with women. When a woman's wrong, just let her be wrong. I even go as far to say, and I'll tell her, and it's kind of a mocking, kind of condescending way, but it's slick and you get off the hook. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Do we actually mean you're right? No, we're not. But we're saying, yeah, you're right. You win this. I'm going to yield to you because I am actually not going to engage with an argument with you. I'm not going to win. You're not going to be logical about it. And the only thing you're going to do is get butthurt. But a guy, he also kind of understands that woman gets butthurt. The difference is he's willing to kiss her ass, become a complete brown noser in order to get what he wants by giving her what she wants. I don't believe in that, okay? I believe in just keeping your mouth shut. So download that free ebook. You understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, here's a little chart that a girl came up with. I thought it was very interesting, breaking down alpha, beta, delta, gamma, omega, sigma, all these things that people think are types of men. I don't know. Let's hear what they have to say, and we'll respond to it.
You always hear about alpha males, but there are actually 6 personality types of modern men. So let's go ahead and get into it. Start off with alpha males. They're assertive, they're dominant, they often take charge in a social setting, they have high social status, and they're charismatic leaders. They feel good at taking charge and being the center of attention, and like CEOs, they can effortlessly control a room. Number 2, beta males. Beta males are less dominant and more agreeable and cooperative. They like to be the sidekick, like Ron Weasley. They play a passive role in social hierarchies and crave forming relationships. Number 3, delta males. They often go unnoticed in social settings. They are neither dominant nor submissive and are fairly average in social interactions. Their adaptability is what makes them unique and reliable, but they rarely lead. They're not natural leaders, but they will step up to the plate if they're put in a situation to do so, like Harry Potter. Number 4, gamma males. Gamma males are contrarians. They are rebellious and like to challenge social norms. Their independent thinking sometimes makes them an outsider. They're highly independent, highly intelligent, and a bit rebellious, which makes them stand out. An example of this would be Jack Sparrow or Han Solo. Number 5, omega males. They typically do not have a lot of social skills. They're usually introverted, they lack confidence, and they're generally unpopular. But they're usually super focused on specific interests, like a nerdy guy that prefers solitude and their own hobbies. A great example of this would be Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man. Last but not least, number 6, sigma males. Sigma males reject traditional social hierarchies and value their independence and self-reliance. They're known as lone wolves. Although they're just as charismatic as alpha males, they usually operate outside the conventional norm. They're self-reliant, they work alone, and they are not altered in any way by social expectations. A great example of this would be James Bond or John Wick or Bruce Wayne. So what personality type are you? Or what personality type of men are you most attracted to? As always,
yeah, whatever. And always, I'm trying to sell your ish on my channel, okay? But shout out to her. I'll put a link to her profile in the description, if that is her link. I don't know if this is her link or not. But the point I want to say is this. Everybody's trying to find a way to categorize themselves. Am I alpha? Am I beta? Am I delta? Am I omega? Like, who gives a crap, okay? I'm going to make this very simple for y'all. All that don't mean no nothing. You are the leading or you're following, okay? To me, everything she named is just a spectrum of beta males, you know what I'm saying? With the exception of sigma. She pretty much made it seem like sigma and alpha are the 2 dominant ones and everyone else are submissive ones in one way or another. But the reality of it is that there ain't multiple leaders of men in one environment. Either you leading men or you're following, okay? That's why a car has one steering wheel, okay? Because we can't both go right and left at the same time. We just can't, okay? And I know there's a bunch of people that might feel like they're a sigma male and blah, blah, bro. I look at it like this. It's either you're fit or not fit. It's either you're smart or you're not smart. It's either you lead or you follow. It's really binary. I know we want to break things up into spectrums and there's grays and all that is to feel like you have some kind of identity. You know my identity. You know what I'm saying? I'm a servant of God. You know, in my view, either you serve God or you don't. There is no I kind of serve him and there ain't none of that. No. You either serve him or you don't. I serve God. I feel like God wants men to be what we call alpha males. He wants us to lead. He ordained it to be that way. So if you believe in the Bible like I do, you're striving to be alpha male because you put your purpose first. And in the Bible, they warn men about women all the time. They're constantly warning men about women for this reason, because men would do anything. Well, a lot of men would do anything to get some ass. Anything. I don't recommend this to you. Anyway, here's a woman deciding what she believes is an alpha male. I thought it was pretty interesting. Let's hear what she has to say and we'll respond to it.
The alpha male What is the alpha male? Hold on, P. I got it. Let me explain. So, traditionally, an alpha male is described as a confident, assertive person who leads and commands respect, right? He is often seen as the one who takes charge and ensures the well-being of those around him. That is a definition of an alpha male. However, the stereotypes about alpha males can be misleading. Many of the portrayals of alpha men are aggressive, domineering, and emotionally detached, and that's just not true, right? We know that true alpha men don't impose their will. They don't just impose their will, but they earn respect by making thoughtful decisions and by showing integrity. This leadership is often about collaboration more so than brute force and making somebody do what they want them to do. An alpha male works alongside others to make sure that what's happening around them is successful, right? And this leadership often involves sharing responsibilities and valuing the contributions of everyone in the group, not just taking charge for the sake of dominance. That's just not true. Contrary to stereotypes about emotionless alpha males, many successful leaders actually demonstrate emotional intelligence and empathy.
People always butcher emotions. Emotional intelligence is not showing emotion. Women, oh my God. Women think that if you are in tune with your emotions, you're emotional intelligent. That is not emotional intelligence. That is being impulsive. Okay? That is being emotional, if anything. You just emote. Emotional intelligence says that I can respond to what happens to me. I don't have to react. So this idea of being in touch with your emotions for women, because they think inside their brain, they don't realize that people have a brain that's different than women. Men, we have our own brain, and that brain doesn't think about, oh, how do I feel? How do I feel? My feelings. A lot of times, men, we work in environments we're not happy about, but we put our feelings aside to do something, to live our purpose. If you're always in your feelings, you can never be a good leader, because you don't understand, in order to even have success, you must go through failure. It's just the ebbs and flows of life, all right? The vicissitudes of life. Not everything is going to be, people think success is just one linear path. You go straight to the top. It's not like that. You have valleys, you know what I'm saying? You have mountains, you have valleys. So sometimes you're in the valley of death. You just can't lose any enthusiasm because you're at the bottom, and sometimes you're on the top of the mountain, and you can't let that success blind you and become arrogant. You got to keep a sense of, I don't want to say humility, but you have to keep a sense of that you're aware that if you get too complacent, you know what I'm saying, that's where failure starts to set in. So this idea of emotional intelligence is men being in tune with their emotions and they're really emotional. That's a woman's idea, because for women, they believe their emotions are their strength because they trust their emotions. If they feel something, they're going to act on how they feel. I strongly suggest men don't behave this way, because if men act on how they feel, they'll be very violent and very dangerous. And to be a man really is to be dangerous, but have it under control. You don't have it under control when you're emotional. You don't. But women think emotions is everything. So, let her talk.
They understand the importance of nurturing relationships and providing support to others. These are myths about alpha men always being dominant and aggressive. That's not true. You don't have to choke somebody out. You don't have to force somebody to do what you want them to do to be an alpha male. A true alpha male and true alpha behavior involves emotional intelligence, empathy, and the ability to work well within a group. Alpha males don't need support is another myth. That's not true. The strongest leaders benefit from the support and collaboration of others. You need community to be successful. Another stereotype about alpha men is that they are invulnerable. Bullshit. That's not true. They face challenges and vulnerabilities just like everyone else. Strength is really just about knowing when to show vulnerability and knowing when to show help, not just winning battles. That's not what alpha men are about. I think there are toxic stereotypes about alpha.
Yeah, this woman is she wants to tell you what she likes, and she's deeming that what she likes is alpha. Women do this all the time. They do this all the time. So I hope if you're watching this to try to learn, like, how do I be alpha with women, one of the first things you could do is not be led by women. Don't be led by women. Women will say anything, and they say one thing and do another. You don't know how many girls I've heard in my life say, we're not going to hook up tonight, and that's exactly the night we hooked up. I've heard it so many times. You cannot trust what a woman's going to say, because women could go back on their words. They could promise you something and never do it. How many guys are used to that? Women promise, and you can't get bent out of shape about it. You can't hold a woman to her words, because her words are always going to fluctuate and change. Women are so finicky. Right now, she feels she's telling you this, but meanwhile, she just probably projecting to me that a man that she thinks is alpha is a man that tries to bully and muscle her way around. That's not alpha. That's feminine. That is feminine. If you try to muscle your way around in people and you're a bully, you're actually really weak. Bullies are not real tough guys. They're punks. All the time. You know what I'm saying? The easiest way to deal with a bully is to go upside their head. That's the easiest way. You're getting bullied, you know what I'm saying, in life. Easiest way to deal with that is to go upside their head. Then they stop. Because what they do, they try to prey on you because you're weak. She's trying to say, be vulnerable. Consider other people. Be vulnerable. That is not what it means to be alpha. We are naturally vulnerable. Nobody is mortal here. We all have vulnerability. I don't have to be vulnerable. I don't have to portray vulnerability. By going to sleep, you're vulnerable. When you're asleep, you're vulnerable. Someone could kill you while you're sleeping. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people keep their, you know what I'm saying, they keep firearms in their house to protect themselves, because they know they're vulnerable when they're at rest. So this idea that you have to act vulnerable in your life, you don't have to do that. Now, again, this is what women think. Women need to act more vulnerable because they're too damn masculine. Anyway, this guy breaks down alpha from a historical standpoint. We're going to play what he says, and we're going to respond to it.
We've all been hearing the word alpha for years, and it's time to clear up a few things about it. It was popularized in the 1970s by Dr. David Meck, an excellent wolf researcher. Within a few years of him publishing, two things happened. The first was that men's pop psychology got a hold of it, and it took off like wildfire, with all kinds of men trying to act dominant and powerfully aloof, the way they imagined alpha wolves to act, thinking women wanted that. The second was that Dr. Meck realized how catastrophically wrong he had been, because it wasn't his research. He was citing Rudolf Schenkel, who published in the 40s. Meck spent the next decades, to this day, trying to have his own work unpublished because he realized how problematic it was. And to understand why, imagine someone randomly picking 24 people from all over the world, kidnapping them, and locking them in a 30 by 60 foot cell with limited resources. Now they're traumatized, isolated, share no language or culture with their fellow prisoners, and are profoundly stressed. Sounds kind of like a horror movie, right? Maybe you can imagine that some of those people might be assholes in that situation and hoard resources. This is exactly what Schenkel's research methodology was, and it represents wolves no more than that hypothetical group.
This guy he's beta, okay? He might have a point, but he's literally trying to, again, a lot of people project what they do with their lives. He's projecting, again, I never thought alpha was someone that was a bully, a tough guy, walking around trying to dominate. I've always knew that was the weakest people. They used to say, and I don't know if people don't believe this anymore, but the loudest person in the room is the weakest person in the room. Just because someone's trying to, a lot of people act tough. I've seen men in my life with tattoos on their face cry when somebody pressed them. I've seen that with my own eyes. But they got tattoos on their face trying to scare people. It's just that, a costume. So I don't believe that that's the act that somebody puts on. I've seen people walk around trying to bully somebody and they get murked because they're acting so tough. You know what I'm saying? People go out there and really hurt them. I've seen people who walk around acting tough, they get knocked out by someone smaller than them. Life will show you that these quote-unquote people puffing their chests out, they're all barking, no bite. We call it woofing. You woofing. So, and he talking about wolves and shit like that, right? We call it woofing. So, in his mind, he has to try to disprove. Oh, you're not really tough. You're not really alpha. You're not really alpha. And I never was convinced I was alpha. I don't know why you disputing it. I will never tell you guys that something I was never convinced was alpha ain't alpha. I was never convinced it was alpha. If anything, I'm trying to tell you what alpha is. Alpha is being dangerous, absolutely. It's not being so smart. I can intellectually tell you this. I can tell you this intellectually. Nerds really try to win at this, and when they disprove the fact that alphas are not real, these bullies, they're like, oh yeah, see. But that don't mean you alpha dog. You still beta. You weak. Okay, and honestly, in my mind, this is why a lot of men they become academics, because that's their way of trying to one up people. I'm smart. I'm so smart. And they go down this path of trying to be alpha through academics. It don't work. It don't work. Anyway, here's another dude trying to brown nose from women and say, this is what alpha energy ain't. It ain't this, it ain't this, it ain't that. You can tell so many people got bullied in their lives, yo.
Yo, one thing women got to understand is that there's a misconception of what an alpha male is. And there's a misconception because most men think alpha males are somebody that's loud, somebody that's braggadocious, somebody that's obnoxious, somebody that's rude in speech, somebody that's aggressive, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that's forward and direct. And none of those things are alpha males, sir. What makes an alpha male is their presence when they walk in the room. When an alpha male walks into the room, he doesn't have to say anything, because when they walk in the room, their presence speaks for them. Alpha males are generous. Alpha males are kind. Alpha males are giving, and they are direct, and they are truthful, but they're masterful in conversation. So when they do have a point that may be something that may be hard on a critical point, they know how to convey that message to you without necessarily hurting your feelings like someone that doesn't know how to communicate because they lack emotional intelligence. Alpha males are emotionally intelligent, bro. You know what I'm saying? These cats just run around beating on their chest, getting these big ass beers and going to get...
Again, you see the same pattern. It's like the same pattern repeats. So many people are too busy trying to disprove alpha is not a bully. Why were y'all convinced that? Y'all convinced that alphas are bullies? Even the whole energy thing he said, when you walk in a room, the presence is felt. That's bullies are felt when they walk into the room. Again, you know what I'm saying? This idea of feeling someone present, that's not a true sign of something. See, look, alpha is more than the surface. There's alpha people, you don't even know they're alpha until shit really hits the fan. That's what people understand. Alpha, you don't know alpha when things are going well and nice. You know alpha when, you know what I'm saying, there's chaos, when there's a disaster. That's when you know alpha. That's when you see the real alphas come to life. I've seen so many people walk around so tough, and the minute shit pop off, they're the ones that hit the deck first. That's why, to me, you know, respect to people that think that gangsters or they are gangsters or whatever. To me, you know what I'm saying, you can't... I've always had a conflict with people that they're gangster on one end, but the minute they see the cops, they're no longer gangster. What's up with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not... I don't fear nobody. I don't fear nobody. But you fear the cops. You know what I'm saying? I don't fear the cops. I don't do nothing to get in trouble. I don't put myself in a certain. I don't commit crimes because I don't want to give anybody power. See, that's what happens. If you commit crimes, you give cops power over you. But if you do the right thing, they don't got no power for you. They can't do nothing with you. Someone once said, because I had, you know, you can see my fire. I had my firearm on me, and I really wear my firearm everywhere I go. I could be eating dinner with my family. I got my firearm on me because, you know, what I've learned is, you know, and shout out to the channel Active Self-Protection. The enemy chooses the time and the place it goes down. You just got to be ready or you're not. And we like to say, you know what I'm saying, amongst us in the 2A community, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And that's why I'm always with it. But I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you showing off? You showing off?" I don't carry firearms to show off. See, that's y'all in the mindset. Y'all so used to people that have guns are the ones that are trying to bully you. You know what I'm saying? I'm the dude that can have a firearm on me, and you talking shit, and I walk away, knowing I could blow your head off because I ain't got nothing to prove. One of the best things that happened to me early on in life is I went to jail when I was in college for fighting. I got in a fight. I mean, you know, there's a whole brawl that happened. The dude ended up in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? It was my fraternity against another fraternity, whatever. Long story short, I've learned right there because it was all over trying to prove to somebody I wasn't a punk. And I spent time in jail. I spent money with lawyers. It was so easy to get in trouble, so hard to get out of. What I learned from that is that I don't got to prove to you I ain't a punk. You could believe whatever you want to believe, bro. You gonna find out when shit hits the fan. A lot of people think, you could think I'm soft. You could think whatever. You know what I'm saying? You gonna find out if you need to find out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why, like I said, I could be the dude that could really up it, and I'm not gonna up it because to me, I don't want to put my ability to protect myself and my family in jeopardy to prove to a punk that I ain't a punk. I'm gonna let a punk believe I'm a punk. See, being alpha is not trying to convince anybody, or you don't need anyone to believe something about you. I don't need you to believe anything about me. I'm plant-based and I'm vegan in a gym full of meat eaters, and they all think I'm stupid. Y'all all could think I'm stupid. I'm cool with that. But I know I had heart disease before, and when I went to the doctor said I had a 50-50 chance to live, and I took that real personal. And what I realized when I asked him, hey, do you know what caused it? He said, I don't know. That he was useless, so I became my own doctor, and I went and I did some research, and I found out that you can actually prevent and reverse heart disease. That's the name of a book. Shout out to Caldwell Esselstyn. You can prevent and reverse heart disease with a plant-based diet. And some people in the comments are going to say, oh, you're wrong, you're stupid. Believe what you want, dog. I don't care if you don't believe me. I'm going to tell the truth, whether you believe it or not. Let me eat vegetables and carrots and cucumbers and shit like that. You think it's rabbit food. You believe whatever you want. While you have sleep apnea, you got bad acne, you got a gut, you know what I'm saying? You got high blood pressure. You believe whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, the fruits of my life is going to prove who's actually right or who's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Not no argument, no discussion. We have the fruits of my life. Okay? So, I just think about that all the time, because a lot of people, they think to be alpha is trying to prove something to somebody. All right? Here's another person that talks about alpha. We're going to respond to them.
The alpha male, myth or mandate. The alpha male concept originated from the studies of wolf behavior. Ethologists, experts in animal behavior, studied hierarchies within wolf packs and labeled the dominant ones alphas. But unfortunately, as a result, masses of men believe that displaying animalistic behavior is the only way for a human male to lead, unaware that the alpha wolf theory has since been debunked. Yet still today, if a man demonstrates self-regulatory skills or shows support and kindness, he's labeled a beta, as if compassion and self-control or cooperation were somehow lesser traits. In my new book, The Man the Moment Demands, I share how...
Okay, I don't want him to go on by his son's book, but you see the pattern here. Everyone thinks, for some reason, that the world believes the bully is the alpha. And maybe this is why people become bullies, because they're trying to be portrayed as an alpha. And since you guys believe that, you know what I'm saying, they're going to keep bullying people. I never believed it. I never believed bullies are alpha. I don't know about what y'all think, but I ain't never believe it. So I never had to prove that wrong. Anyway, last video we have here, a girl talking about what she thinks is an alpha male. Chances are we're going to have to challenge it, but let's listen to what she says and we're going to respond to it.
A real pimp that's out here pimping does not have to tell you he's a pimp. You know he's pimping. You know he's a pimp. The same thing go for an alpha man. A real alpha man. You ain't never heard no real alpha man self-proclaim himself to be an alpha man. It's them beta niggas out here talking about alpha. Let me tell you what them betas want. Them betas want a slave they can fuck on or a mama they can fuck on. And it never fails. An alpha respects his woman's opinion, her voice, her style, her...
And this is where she makes up her own definition. He respects this about women. He respects that about women. And alpha is going to do everything I like. Guys, if you learned anything from this entire video, do not take your advice what it means to be a man from a woman. Do not take your advice from people who are trying to prove to everybody alphas are not bullies. Nobody's convinced. I've never been convinced that an alpha is a bully. I ain't never been convinced that what a woman says an alpha man is. Okay? The best person I can tell you, in my personal opinion, what is alpha is God. Okay? Because he is the alpha. He's the alpha and the omega. He's the beginning and the end. He created all this. Ain't nobody more gangster than God. Okay? Ain't nobody got more power and control to God. And God don't got to yield to nobody. We all got to yield to him. So that's why I believe the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom, right? The beginning of wisdom is the fear of God. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. I believe that. I believe it's Proverbs 9:10. I believe that wholeheartedly. Because if you're going to yield to somebody, you might as well yield to your Creator, your Father who art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Okay, thy kingdom come. You know what I'm saying? That should be done on earth as it is on heaven. You get what I'm trying to say. It's really, really simple, okay? And God has a very fine description of what a man is and what he ordains men to do. And he ordains men to lead and our women to submit to us. But we should love our women. Love our women. And what that means, that means not to resent them, not to be bitter about them. I'm not bitter about women. But I understand that they're not my God. That's all I'm saying. I'm not bitter about it. I understand that women have a natural desire to control a man because they want to control the situation to feel safe. And you'll be a fool if you let a woman control the situation. But a lot of men do, and this is why a lot of men can't be alpha with women. And this is why I believe the divorce rate's so high, because a woman might marry a beta on the front end, but then she gets divorced to that same beta on the back end. That's what's happening, in my personal opinion. I don't have full evidence about it, but I'd love to see research to try to figure out who's married more alphas than betas. I wouldn't be surprised if betas get married more. Anyway, like the video, subscribe to the channel blowing up. I appreciate you guys. Check out some of my other videos, and I'll see y'all over there.